Welcome into Seattle Seahawks today. I am your host, Tom Downey. On today's video, we're taking a look at some potential Mike Iupati replacements after the longtime NFL guard announced his retirement earlier this week. He was going to be a free agent this offseason anyway, and I think for the most part, knowing that no one can agree on anything in 2021, we all were like, yes, the Seahawks must find a better left guard anyway. When he was healthy, he's a pretty solid player. And he played for Seattle the past 2 years, but injuries had been a reoccurring problem for almost the last half decade for me. He had missed a lot of time over the past few years. And as Iupati said, the injuries had piled up, and his body told him, hey, it's time to call it a career. So now we look at the offensive line for Seattle. And we're focused in on that left guard spot because you've got on the roster, JAMARCO Jones can play some guard. Phil Haynes has played guard. And Jordan Simmons, I guess, was the next man up at left guard when Iupati was banged up. Ooh, I don't know if those are the best guys on the roster. So, factoring in free agency options, draft options, and guys already on the roster, who do you guys want to replace Mike Iupati as the team's starting left guard in 2021? This is the pinned comment, so go get your votes in. Again, Iupati has gone ahead and called it a career. Let's focus on some internal candidates here. Number one, the guy who played the most last year of the internal options, Jordan Simmons, who, I don't think he's great. He's also an RFA, so he'd be fairly cheap. Bring him back. If you roll into the year with Simmons as your only option, I'd be pretty concerned. Phil Haynes is the one that intrigues me the most out of this list because he was, I believe, a fourth-round pick out of Wake Forest. When he got to play, he showed some promise, just hasn't ever been able to stay on the field. There's also JAMARCO Jones, who, frankly, I think is best served as like a 7th or 8th best offensive lineman. I don't want him starting full-time anywhere for me on an offensive line. So these three guys are your main internal options, right? The PFF grades from last year. Not perfect, but it's some nice insight, right? Jordan Simmons, and this factors in playoffs for 2020 for both Simmons and JAMARCO Jones. Those are not good figures, guys. In the 50s for almost all of them. Jones, I guess, a better run blocker than pass protector. Phil Haynes' numbers, by the way, quick note here, was actually in 2019 because he played one game last year, mostly in the playoffs. He wasn't bad in that game. He just hasn't been able to actually stay on the field. So as far as I'm concerned, Seattle's got to go get a new left guard not on the current roster. So how should Seattle go about doing that? We're going to break down both these options here, but get your votes in right now. D for draft, F for free agency. If you get the ad break here, take advantage and go comment. We'll begin with free agency options. First up, Brandon Schreff, the, I think, best offensive free agent lineman in this year's class, over Trent Williams, over Joe Thuney. He is a right guard. I think he can play left guard pretty easily, though. Do you want to pay him a record-setting guard contract? Maybe not. Next up is Joe Thuney, who is more of a left guard and has been one for the Patriots. Probably a little bit less expensive than Brandon Schreff, but again, if you pick up one of those guys, you're breaking the bank for them. Once these players hit free agency, you don't get a discount on them. You have to spend a lot of money to bring in those guys. There's no savings to be had by getting a top-tier free agent. But you can get some extra money if you head over to BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code you see right there, Seahawks125. Please, folks, remember to use the URL below. Otherwise, you might not get the deposit bonus correctly. That's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Seahawks125. Seahawks won the NFC West last year, but for 2021, they're actually third on the odds. So if you feel good about this organization winning the division next year, take advantage. Go get them at plus 225. Some major return on investment. That means they're not the betting favorite. 225, that's the return you'll get there. So it's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Seahawks125. Some more offensive line candidates, Matt Feeler, and I know the BJ Thuney experiment didn't really go as planned, but he's played left guard, has played some right tackle in the past. He could be a stopgap serviceable option for you and also wouldn't preclude you from drafting somebody early on in the 2021 NFL Draft. Someone already cut and currently available is Nick Easton. He was cut by the Saints just a couple days ago. I am intrigued. I don't think he's that great of a player, He's probably about the same caliber as Mike Iupati, but he's better than Jordan Simmons. So as a cheap veteran, yeah, I have interest there as well. One very intriguing name, to me at least, is Lane Taylor. Only played in one game this year due to injury, has battled other injuries in recent years, but he's played left guard and right guard. So if you're looking for a buy low veteran who does have some upside when he's been healthy, he's been a pretty good football player. I am very much intrigued by Lane Taylor. So let me know in the comments a free agent offensive lineman that you guys want to sign. Any player you're targeting to help you out at guard, let me know in the comments. Some other names I wanted to mention briefly who I don't like that much. Denzel Good, it's not that good. John Miller's a decent player, but he's more of a right guard. John Feliciano we'll mention when we talk center free agent targets. He's kind of a center guard combo. And do you want to bring back Oday Abushi or Jermaine Ifedi? Probably not. I just had to include him. God, could you imagine bringing back Jermaine Ifedi? Hard pass on that one. Heck no. Let's go to the draft then. Some names to watch out for. I don't know if Wyatt Davis will be there in round 2. If he is, I'm intrigued by it. Now, he wasn't as good this year as he was last year, and he did play right guard in 2020 and for his Ohio State career, so you got to make a position change there. But of the guards who will be there, could be there in round 2, i.e. not Elijah Barrett-Tucker, Davis is the one that intrigues me the most. Trey Smith out of Tennessee, he's next up here. Inconsistent is the best way to describe his time as a member of the Tennessee Volunteers. Also got to clear that the blood clotting issue he had earlier in his career. Up and down, the stats are actually pretty good, although it's Tennessee's offense. They were pretty bad in general. I like Trey Smith. I worry about the inconsistency, but if he's there in round 2, I think that makes a lot of sense for the Seahawks in terms of best possible options. Now, if you guys want Seahawks videos pretty much every single day, hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any of the videos we got for you guys here at Seattle Seahawks. That's free agency, that's draft, that's news, that's rumors. It's everything you could want coming at you almost every single day. Let's go to Deonte Brown. And I wonder what the Seahawks want to do in terms of their offensive line style. Do they want someone who is going to be at his best as a mauler in the run game? If so, can I introduce you to Deonte Brown, who checked in above 350 pounds at the Senior Bowl, but he's not very good in pass protection. That's a bit of a red flag there. So if they want to run the football, I'll tell you what, Pete Carroll's going to love Deonte Brown. If they want to protect Russell Wilson, maybe Brown's not the right choice, although he did play left guard for Alabama. One more notable name I want to mention here is Aaron Banks out of Notre Dame. Now, they also got Tommy Kramer as a middle, late-round guy. I don't think Banks is worth taking in round 2, but if, like, Davis and Smith are off the board and he gets to round 4 or day 3, Banks could make some sense. Has played both tackle spots in addition to left guard, so from a depth and positional flex perspective, that's at least intriguing. But if you really want to replace Mike Iupati immediately, you got to take someone in round 2, or if you trade down, take someone later. So name an offensive lineman that you guys want to draft. Maybe it's a name I didn't even mention at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. An offensive lineman that you want to draft. Some other names I want to mention, but haven't gotten around to studying because they're offensive guards, and those are lower on my priority list. David Moore from Grambling State, Ben Cleveland from Georgia. Side note, shout out Grambling State and Georgia for literally having the exact same logo, except one's yellow and one's white and red. Go figure, right? Royce Newman from Mississippi, he was down at the Senior Bowl. Kendrick Green from Illinois. Darius Hutchinson is pretty raw, but he's got upside and has some intrigue there, so I'm at least intrigued by that. David Moore, probably that 5th guy of the previous 4 I mentioned, and don't worry, we'll talk plenty about draft targets as we get closer here on Seattle Seahawks Today.